Hi, I'm Mitch Waite from MogionMonster.com, and today's blog is for the 11th of December 2014, and I have a couple of questions to answer. And yes, right over my shoulder there is my guardian Bigfoot. Yeah, he's been with me for a while. Anyway, this one comes from G. Harris, and he says, Mitch, can you tell us a little more about how you know the Sasquatch bleed, or how you came upon their blood? Okay, let's stop right here and take a quick look at the baby Bigfoot's face. We're looking down from the camera, down towards the ground. You can see the grass at the bottom. He's reaching up. Okay. In the next picture, you will see his hand right in front of the camera. That's his fingers, and they do have armored knuckles in the center of their fingers because they are long and slender. So that's his hand. Next shot is basically shows you how to read the picture: forehead, eye, back of the nose, and that kind of stuff. Okay. And then the final photo is a composite, basically to make the face more visible because some people can't quite see it. I split the photograph, split it right down the middle, rotated it around, copied it, flipped it over, and sewed it together. So this is what the entire face would look like. It is photoshopped. This one is photoshopped. Okay, there's been several instances where I've been involved in actually tracking a Sasquatch or whatever. The first incident, and I will post this on the blog and you'll see it, is a picture of a baby Bigfoot that's working on one of my trail cameras. Now, when I first started researching this particular area, it had been closed to human infringement for years, and they finally just opened it back up. And so going in there, it was kind of like fresh stuff, you know. So I set out some game cameras, and it seemed like they didn't know what game cameras are, because this one particular baby was trying to take it off the tree, and I think I put it about 8 feet up, camera, and I think he was trying to take the camera down, and him being somewhat shorter than that, he was pulling on it, and I think he slipped and smacked himself right in the nose, because one of the pictures clearly shows blood running down his lip. So, and I'll show that. The next time was the toenail that was found in Seligman, or near Seligman, Arizona. This went into the Dr. Ketchman's DNA study, and yes, it did come out to be some unknown primate. Basically, the story behind that was there's a ranch up there, and I'm not going to tell you where, but the rancher said he heard a terrible scream in the night, and he went out to investigate. And in one of the creek beds on a rock, there was a toenail, and of course some blood and stuff, because the toenail had been ripped off. We believe the Bigfoot probably stubbed his toe. So that, I've actually seen that toenail. I've held it. I've been photographed with it. I was on the news with it, and so forth. Right now, I think that Alex Hearn still has it in his possession. I don't know. I haven't seen Alex in a long time. And the third time was some hunters were camped in the same campground as I was one night, and during the evening, later part of the evening when you're not supposed to be hunting, I heard several shots ring out. And I started, really yelling and saying, hey, you're not supposed to shoot around the campground, and stuff like that, because it was that close. And the next morning, I heard that one of the hunters had run across the Bigfoot, and he shot it. And they spent the night tracking the blood trail. And they couldn't find it. The blood trail petered out. So they gave up. I went and tried my luck at tracking it for the following day and the next few days. And yes, it bled quite profusely for quite some time. And basically the blood dried up, petered out. I watched the area very carefully for the next couple of days for vultures, because that's a good sign of where there's a dead carcass. I found none. So evidently the body was either picked up and removed, or it didn't die. Somehow it stopped the bleeding. So that's how I've been involved in blood. Okay, Alex PIV says, why do you think it's so difficult, bordering on the crazy, for most to grasp the idea of another highly intelligent and cautious great ape living in this day and age? If I could answer that one, I probably wouldn't be doing these videos. I'd probably be on national TV. But anyway, it could have something to do with the religious beliefs. They may feel that a Bigfoot might cast shadows of doubt on whether or not the Bible is correct and so forth. But to me, Bigfoot's existence only strengthens the what's in my religion. So, I don't see any problem with Bigfoot existing, to tell you the truth. It might have something to do with pride and arrogance. They've made up their mind, and they don't want to hear it. And if you persist, then you're crazy, or, you're ostracized. Then there are those people that have invested quite a bit of time in theories. They have marked themselves as being the experts. And then they're kind of closed mind, trying to say, no, I can't be wrong, you're wrong. So that can happen. And by the way, I don't consider myself to be an expert. I am still learning. I learn every day. I learn from you people. Okay. Then there's the closed minds that just don't want to hear about it. Such as a good example of this, of the arrogance and so forth, is back near the turn of the century, they were contemplating closing the patent office. It was thought that everything had been discovered. There were going to be no more discoveries and no need of issuing patents. Yeah, I think that's strange too, but it's true. Let's move on. Do you think this comes from Mike Severcall? Do you think the Forest Service knows they're real and won't admit it because of economic reasons or some other reason? Oh, I can tell you right now, the Forest Service knows about them. I've talked to many of Forest Service dudes. Some of them haven't seen them, and I've talked to a couple of Forest Service people that have seen them, but they know about them. The various reasons why they may not want to talk about it or officially recognize them is, possibly the same JKATZ9V says that once they're recognized, you can imagine the ramifications. Large tracts of wilderness will be off limits, logging severely restricted. It's in the interest of the TPTB to ignore the reports. Well, this is kind of true. So you're kind of right on there. Let's face it, there's a lot of money in logging. There's a lot of money in camping, fishing, hunting, hiking, and stuff like that. If you have a public that's afraid to go out there because of an unknown primate, that can affect a lot of businesses. So, it boils down to is they're trying to protect their interest. To me, the existence of Bigfoot is really no more dangerous than those pesky grizzly bears that are out there. Fortunately, we don't not supposed to have any here in Arizona anymore because they've all been killed. They've been talking about reintroducing them back into Arizona, and this is not a good idea. Just my opinion, it's not a good idea to bring big predators like that back into Arizona. So that's kind of my thoughts on whether the Forest Service knows about them or not. I believe they do. Of course, like I said before, these are all my own opinions based on my observations in the field and interviews and stuff like that. So I may change my opinion if things are presented differently or I learn more or find out more.